For my second reading vlog of September, we are continuing with the fall reads, the cozy reads. It's currently storming outside. The sky is really dark, but that means that I just want to light up a candle, turn on my heated blanket, and read some of my books. I did my TBR for the fall, and there's a lot of mystery, thriller, horror, a lot of fantasy, cozy fantasy, so we're going to keep going in that range. The first book that I really want to read is this one, very reflective. This is Lost Gods, and I did read Slewfoot by the same author early this year. It was one of the first book I finished this year, and it was one of my first 5-star year. It was fantastic, kind of witchy revenge story and horror, and I wanted to try more by him, so why not this one? Because the main character dies and he is trying to save his wife and kid, I believe, and he goes to hell, which I just finished Catabasis by Harfquan, so I'm very much in the mood to read more stories in hell. I'm assuming the tone is going to be very different. The first one was very dark academia, and this one is going to be more, again, fantasy horror. The author apparently is famous. I'm sorry, I didn't know, but he draws a lot of these kind of fantasy horror things, and he's fantastic at it. It was the same thing in Slewfoot, so I'm very curious to get into this one. I'm hoping I'm going to like it as much as I liked his other book. If I do, he has a couple more books, so like, it's always fun to find a new favorite author, so hopefully that's the case. And with the fantasy, cozy fantasy, I have a few, but this is probably the first one I want to get to. This is The Late Night Witches, which, like I said, witchy vibes is definitely right up my alley. In this case, my character is feeling a little lost, and I think there's going to be vampires, small town, set in Canada, actually. Foggy Prince Edward Island. So, you know, foggy mood, perfect for me. And I had a few arcs that I will be reading. If I don't read them all this week, next week is gonna happen because I have a lot to do because, again, fall, but that also means that I need to prepare for fall. I would love to declutter my clothes a little bit. I feel like summer is done. I want to go through what I didn't wear, what I'm not gonna wear next year, kind of getting rid of those, and I have a few things to do, like cutting my grass one last time, which is not gonna be fun because my neighbor's elderly dog keeps escaping. He's not really running away. He gets under the fence and gets into my yard and poops in my yard. So now I have to be like a dog owner, go through my yard to pick up the poop before I can cut my grass, which I did not sign up for this, okay? I have a bunch of cats and I will scoop the poop, but in the litter boxes, not in my yard. I also really want to get some candles for fall. It's like the one season I buy some. This is my last one of my favorite, which is Autumn by Bath & Body Works, which I couldn't find it last year, so I had to ration this. I don't burn a ton anymore because, again, cats, but when I read in my bedroom, I really like to have some, and yeah, I'm running very low. So we definitely want the cozy vibes. Also, definitely let me know if you have any recommendations for movies or TV shows for the fall. I'm waiting desperately to watch Practical Magic 2. I'm a little nervous, but you know, the coziness, the vibes, that's definitely what I'm looking for. Speaking of cozy, I wanted to give a special shout out to Sunshine Island, which is today's sponsor. They are a free to download cozy tropical island farm game, which has been very fun to play with. Actually, in this house, we definitely love a farm game. Right, Charlie? Exactly, we get very invested. On your island, you're collecting resources and building and upgrading your town. The tropical twist, I think, is a really fun addition to it. Over time, you unlock multiple islands, which each one gives you new resources, characters, and building, and you can customize your village. You can also join a team, chat with them, help each other. You can even take part in events for special rewards. Personally, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I find it really relaxing. I like that you can progress with it over time, and it's just been a nice little escape. I will be adding the link in the description box if you want to try Sunshine Island. I will also have the QR code on the screen if you prefer to scan it. And if you use the coupon code Emily25, you can get a welcome gift. Now the real question is, do you think I can put that hat on Claudia, or will it be the last thing I do in life? I came upstairs to hide from Claudia because she has been relentless. I was eating chicken, and that's the one thing she will try to steal from me. That one time that she was able to open the compost box overnight and find chicken bones, it made her a monster. So I'm hiding upstairs so I can give you a first impression on the book because things started so intense. Keep in mind, I just finished a really cozy fantasy, okay? I thought I was going to continue, but then this book was really appealing to me. So, ooh, no, it's the boys. We're good. No, it's not good. The book starts really intense and I was not prepared for it. So this man just came out of prison and he goes back to his girlfriend who's pregnant with his baby, and she is living with her father, and like they're basically waiting for the baby to be here so they can be adopted. And he goes there, tries to lure her out. Oh no, that was Claudia. She went to look for me in the library. Oops, Look, she looks innocent, but do not trust this pretty little face. She is a violent beast. Claudia, you're so pretty. This is what I'm seeing. Chunk and Charlie. Anyway, like I was saying, he tries to lure her out, tells her, I'm going to marry you, we're going to have a cute little family, let's run off to my grandmother's who live somewhere really remote, nobody's going to find us. So they escape in a car, and as they're escaping, he might hit his ex-coach, actually, who is her uncle. Small town. Anyway, they're not sure if he survived that or not, so they make their escape at his grandma. Things are a little weird, but she's getting like witchy vibes, which I'm a big fan of, but I don't know if I trust her. And we're also learning that his grandfather apparently just a bunch of kids back in the day. So like weird vibes, and I know he's gonna die because that's the plot, but like I don't know what's the next step. And again, like I said, I don't know how I feel about the whole situation. So everything started really intensely, like I'm really not far into the book, and like all of this is happening, and I'm like, I knew what I was signing up for, but I didn't. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully things are not too intense. And I have company. Although she was under the bed. I don't trust her right now. I joke, but Claudia's a lovely baby, okay? I know I like to joke about it, but she's not. She's a good baby, okay? She's just sometimes a little intense. She's my most intelligent cat by far. But she's also very like, she makes a lot of faces, and sometimes she's a little scary. Anyway, I'm going back to my book. I'll keep you posted, but we're off to an intense start. Good morning. Impromptu update because things are not going well. I am currently like chapter 35, page 208. My bookmark just fell. So 209. Listen, I'm not quite halfway through. I'm not feeling it. I don't think it's the book's fault, frankly. I think it's me. I just started my period. And like I am in a grumpy mood and I'm just not feeling it. So I started the next one thinking something cozy might be what works for me better. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't like to randomly DNF a book because I have a tendency to put them in my pile of shame and, you know, come back to them only like a year later. And I don't want to do that to this book because I don't think it's the book. I definitely think it's me. But yeah, soft DNF. We'll see what happens with the rest of the week. I'm trying to not be judgmental towards myself. Like it happens. I feel like there can be a lot of pressure online, you know, when you start doing YouTube videos, whatever the topic actually, because people have expectations and you're trying to not think about that. Just, you know, this is me trying to be realistic, sharing my own experience. But life happens. Like some fun challenges can become too much, and like doing weekly reading vlogs can become too much. So again, I'm trying to let go of that because for some reason I'm back into putting too much pressure on myself, which again, probably my period. So I started this one instead, The Late Night Witches, because I had really liked In the Company of Witches by the same author, and maybe something cozy right now. It's just what I need. So I started it. So far, from what I know, this woman is married, but her husband is really absent, and she has 3 kids. She is kind of feeling a bit lost and kind of has abandoned herself. But I'm guessing she's going to be a witch. Not so far. At least she doesn't know it. And it looks like vampires are coming to town and are going to disrupt everything. So we'll see what happens. But I'm feeling this one a bit more than the other one. And depending on how the week goes, I might go back to the other one. I might admit to myself that it's not going to happen. Probably not. To be fair, okay, it's not that anything bad happened in this one. It's just that at this point, it's been 200 pages and it started good, as I had mentioned. But at this point, he's been in hell and they're just like walking from one spot to the next. Like, there's been a few like point of views, but generally speaking, not much has happened. And well, they're technically not in hell. I should have been. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're meeting some old gods, and he has to go and find, you know, the key to get out of hell that is in hell, so he can go save his fiance. I'm doing a really good job at explaining the topic, but yeah, so far it was fine. It's just I wasn't really compelled by the writing, the story. I think the difference between Slewfoot, which is the other book by him, is that I was really into the story, and I'm a big fan of female rage. And, you know, you could see it brew, and you got more like witchy stuff. And in this one, technically, I guess there's a little bit of witchy stuff, but it's not what you're following. So yeah, I'm just feeling a bit bleh about the whole thing, so we're going to cozy witchy stuff. Okay, so ignore the mess, because clearly I do need to put the books back. This is bad. Okay, look, these are all books from like videos I've done, like my wrap-ups for the last like 2-3 months, and they've just been there. I need to do a reorganizing video, and that was my question. I don't know what to do with my shelves anymore. Clearly I need to, like, look at this. This is my unhaul shelf, which is mostly empty now. Yay. This needs to be, like, maybe I should just admit that I can't keep things separate, because this is my mystery thriller horror shelf, and then I have my classics, and then I have my everything else and my nonfiction. Maybe I just need to admit that I can, it's okay. You can, you know, you can do it. On the other side, I have my fantasy, and this is my sci-fi, which I don't have that many sci-fi anymore. I feel like I don't read as much as I used to, so maybe I should just reorganize things. Or should I do read versus unread? Tell me what to do. I don't know what to do anymore. Honestly, I don't know how to organize my things anymore. So eventually I need to actually put things back. And when I do, I need to figure out, do I move everything? Do I not? Random update I was not planning on making, but I'm about halfway through the book, and there's just something, okay? I'm not really feeling it, and I'm noticing a pattern that sometimes when I don't feel it, but I'm forcing myself to continue, I notice that I start focusing on little things in the book, and I can't stop thinking about it. It happens, not often, but it happens. Like, for example, the Millennium series. I had really liked The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but then book 2, or even more book 3, I kept noticing that all the characters, especially like the villains, were all like really tall men that were described as blonde. I remember during that vlog, I couldn't stop laughing about it, because why are there so many blonde men? Like, I know the book is set, I think, in Sweden, and I know that there are blonde people there. I know that, but like where I live in Canada, I've never seen this many blonde men ever. And it reminds me of the joke on the internet that, like, if you're a grown man and still blonde, like, grow up. Like, because most people will grow out of it, right? They become darker blonde or like light brown and whatever. But like, so many men were blonde, and I couldn't stop noticing it, and it was distracting me from the book because I wasn't that into it. Or I'm thinking Bunny, which that book went viral on BookTok for a while, and like Dark Academia vibes, which in theory should have worked, but it was weird, and like not good weird. It got weird. But for some reason, years later, all I can think about when I think about that book is this specific scene where one of the characters is described as wearing this specific shade of MAC lipstick. And it's described as a warm tone red. And it's not. I don't remember if it's Ruby Roo or Russian red. Either way, it's a cool tone red. And like, I know ball, because if you look back in the day, I used to do beauty videos on YouTube, and yes, I miss it. Yes, I'm still hoping to come back one day. My health is still shit. It is what it is. But I did do a lip swatch video on MAC lipsticks, which I can probably put the screenshot of the thumbnail here. I don't know how many views it has at this point. Thousands, maybe millions, okay? A lot. So I know lipstick, okay? And I have these specific shades of lipstick, so I know that they are not what she said. And it's a random thing that you might not notice. Fair enough. The average person wouldn't. But to me, it took me out of the story, because all I could think of is it would have taken you 2 seconds to double check. You didn't. The editor didn't. It's a small thing, but you lost credibility. Like, at least pick a warm tone lipstick. Like, you could have used Lady Danger. You know, that would have been a cool name for the character too. Anyway, it's just like 2 examples. I could go on. Because I think it's really funny when you focus on a random thing. But in this book, all I can focus on, except that her husband is useless, which is the purpose. I'm assuming it's gonna, you know, get to a point where she'll stand up for herself and actually leave him, because clearly he has left her at this point. But anyway, all I can think of is that this woman has not taken care of her kids for 5 minutes throughout the whole book. Like, the whole point is that she's a burnt out mother of three. But the whole time it's her teenage daughter taking care of her two young twin boys that are like 8. And like, she's constantly forced to do her job, or like her useless, crazy sister, whatever, has taken care of them too. Like, everyone is taking care of her kids, except it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but like, ultimately, halfway through the book, everyone has spent more time with your kids than you did. And like, again, I'm assuming there's going to be a conversation with her daughter, because like, dude, she's like 15, 16, and she's taking care of her brothers more than you do. Anyway, all of this, huge tangent just to say, I'm not really focusing on the story, which is not a good sign. I don't know. I really liked her other book, In the Company of Witches, and I would recommend it for cozy fantasy, but the magic is barely starting. Like, the witchy stuff is barely starting. It's been, like, I have compassion for mothers that are burnt out. Like, yes. But in the book, I'm not it says funny. Where's the funny? Like, I'm not feeling it yet. So, yeah. If I'm being perfectly upfront and honest, I would probably soft DNF it too. But I know myself, and if I do that twice in one vlog, not only would it feel sad, like, I know it's realistic, like, I'm not going to love everything that I read, and I have to accept that, but also, it's going to put me in a reading slump. So, like, it's still early, you can see there's still some natural light, not for long, so I'm going to keep going. Maybe it's going to pick up. It's not difficult to go through, so, you know, I'm going to finish this one at least, and I still need to decide what I'm going to do with the other one, but yeah. I'm focusing on random things. If you ever wonder why I don't record videos in the library often with the door open, it's because 4 cats is insane. They go insane. And currently it's the morning. I'm about to like do a deep clean the house and everything. I have like the headphones. I'm ready. But I realize I need to update you because I finished a book. And Chunk, if you do... I'm not the boss. I just live here, clearly. Okay, thank you. So I finished a book, if you care. I finished it, and it took me a while. It was hard. I was going to say not the book's fault. Kind of the book's fault, to be honest. I'm just... Is it too dark in here? Give me a second. I didn't think this through. These are usually in my background. I moved them because I'm about to vacuum. Anyway, focus. Is it better? Not really. Just be nice to me. I've had a rough week. Okay. Last chance. Okay. I finished it. I think my last update, I was halfway through. Honestly, my updates this week were kind of all over the place because, I mean, this one, I never went back to it. Okay. I'm going to be honest. I think next week I'm going to give it a second shot, but I think I'm more in the mood for cozy fantasy. So I think I'm going to keep doing that, especially because next week, okay, next reading vlog, I have 2 advanced reader copies of books I'm really excited about. So including Bread Knives and Brigands, which is coming out in November. So, like, I think next week's going to go well. But I thought this could be a good, you know, starting point. This just came out. I had really liked her other book. And listen, I'm a big fan of witches. Eventually, the witchy stuff start happening. She learns that she is the descendant of this witch that had to try and, you know, contain this vampire. And she tried everything, and the only thing that worked was to kind of curse him. And, like, basically, he would be stuck sleeping every month except October until he kills 13 generations of witches. And she didn't think she had any descendants. Turns out maybe she did. And then in this book, you're following the witch that ends up being witch number 13. And yeah, I'm noticing a pattern that I'm struggling sometimes to get emotionally invested in characters when, how do I say that? Struggling too much to stand up for specifically to stand up for themselves. I get really frustrated. I don't remember how old she is, if they mention it or not. Like late 30s, maybe early 40s. Either way, like, I really struggle because, girl, I'm rooting for you. Like, please stand up, start having some confidence. And it doesn't happen until the end. And I just get like, it's fine in the beginning, obviously, but like, I get frustrated when it just never happens. Maybe that's why I've been really into the stories of like female rage, because at least they're doing something. Is it unhinged? Often, yes, but I find that more entertaining than someone who is feeling bad about themselves. And like, obviously she has her reasons and everything, but eventually, girl, get it together. Like, I want to root for you, but you're making it hard. And I stand by what I said in my last update, the fact that like, where are your children? The author tries to make it make sense, but like ultimately I couldn't stop thinking about it. The average person might not feel the same, but maybe once I've said it, maybe you'll notice it. But I don't know. I felt very meh about the whole thing. I think I finished it just because I wanted to finish something this week. But also I really like her, the book. And I would still recommend this series. Like if you're looking at this one, I would start with this one first. If you loved that duology, sure, you can give it a shot. It just came out, like I said, at the end of August. So I will be looking at reviews because I'm curious if anybody else is gonna feel the same. I think I'm gonna run it up to a 3. And that's just because I feel like maybe my mood affected my experience. But yeah, overall, I was disappointed. Like this might make it to my most disappointing books of the year. Which sounds really harsh, but I've had a pretty like okay year. Like a lot of just okay books. I've been pretty good at putting down the books I'm not enjoying. So I feel like this is the most disappointing in comparison. And yeah, like I said, this one, I'm going to go back to it because I think it's just my mood. I'm still, you know, chapter 35. So yeah, kind of a meh week. It's been pretty cozy though. It's getting a little cooler. And now that I want to grab a cat, there's not one. Is it Charlie? Is it Charlie? Hi, handsome, handsome. Oh my goodness, you're so handsome. Look at him. He's not wearing his hat for this clip though, but I mean, oh, is he not the perfect witchy cat? Like, he's literally the best baby. He has never had a thought in his entire life, which makes him pretty much the best baby, except that he doesn't actually like to eat unless it's not food, which is like the worst thing ever. But look at him. And he's like such a long baby too. I don't deserve you. The world doesn't deserve you. And he loves me, okay? Like Chip is so nonchalant and he's the opposite. He is chalant. And that's the reason that he's the only cat I ever put a costume on. So once again, if you want to check out Sunshine Island, I'll put the QR code on the screen again, and I'll link it in the description box. He's very excited about it. I'll put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you later this week. Like I said, my next vlog is going to be arcs, in the hopes that I can find a new 5-star, because last month was pretty good, okay? And the last one I found 3 5-stars, so maybe my expectations are too high now. That is so possible. Anyway, I'll see you then. Bye.